care.
Welcome to the SWAT. Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you're all enjoying your Wednesday. Hope you all had a nice Tuesday night. I had a break-even night across the board. Maybe that Hornets money line might have pushed me slightly into the green. I went literally dead even. I think I went 3 and 3 on my bets, but one of my wins was the Hornets money line at like plus 135 or something. So I might have made a couple dollars, but pretty much break even in the NBA. And then I placed 2 college basketball bets that went 1-1. So pretty much break even. I will say, if you watch the beginning of yesterday's show, I was talking about how I had negative closing line value on 3 of my bets and positive closing line value on 1. Well, the negative CLB bets went 2-1, and the one where I had 3 full points of value lost. So there you have it. Market got smoked yesterday.
Shout out to the Warriors.
Oh my God, that team sucks.
I got smoked yesterday too.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah, we're getting a look of what Steph Curry's career would look like if he didn't have a top 5 defense every single season. That's a joke. Steph's cool. Some people get triggered by that shit. What's up, guys? So, Chris, you said you had a bad night?
Outside of Min Thompson, I think I had Lakers CLV on that one, -4. They never got off the plane in Dallas. You'll never see me wear that hat on this show again. They are. I need motor. I need Prop Beaver to write me up. He's really good at like just disgracing teams. He call them scums.
I do.
Bottom of the earth. Like I need some of that good talk for the Lakers. Boy, I hate that I like that team. But anyway, I digress. We'll get into the show.
Someone said, Toast, please stick to baseball. 0-4 tailing Toast. Isn't he up like 19 units or something?
I mean, he started off terribly, right? He was the dark cloud, and then. Honestly, he started really climbing out of the hole, like kind of like Bane in Dark Knight Rises, where you really saw him like
not to mention
get the towel and really just climb up that bitch. So I don't know. I think he's doing well these days.
I'm pretty sure Toast went like 10-3 or something last night. Dude, some people, this is not for you. Like, you shouldn't be gambling. This is not for you. Modai got his Jamal Murray a rebound, someone said in the comments. So congrats.
It was an okay day. I was down like half a unit. So it's actually not okay. I don't have a. Yeah, never mind.
So it's actually not okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the NBA tonight. Wizards, Philadelphia.
Starting off with a heater, folks.
I mean, I would rather watch season 1 of Better Call Saul than this game. This is a horrible.
You don't like Better Call Saul?
No, it's not season 1.
It shows like one of the best TV shows of all time.
I love Better Call Saul. It starts cooking in season 3 or 4. You got to muscle through the first couple. Jimmy McGill sucks. I'm here for Saul. I don't give a shit about
Jimmy.
Chuck McGill, Jimmy McGill. Kim Wexler can definitely get it. But season 1 or 2, Better Call Saul. But anyway, I'm good on this game.
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? I would rather watch paint dry than watch this or bet this basketball game.
This is bad. Chris?
Yeah, team total under for the Washington Wizards. They ruled out everybody. I think it's like I got it at 105.5. They ruled out everybody. Philly coming off a bad loss. Philly's only been a home favorite of double digits one time this season. That came against the Hornets. Very comparable team to the Wizards, in my opinion. They scored 98 points in that spot. You look at the Wizards on the second leg of a back-to-back, double-digit dog in this spot, and they're unrested. Yeah, once they played against Houston, once they played against the Knicks, 2 pretty good defensive teams. And I'm feeling like without Embiid, without Paul George, that Philly's not going to be like their offense is not going to be great either. So they scored 92 points against Houston, 106 against the Knicks. I don't think they get to 100. Not without Jordan Poole. I know Kuzma's upgraded. Who else is it? It's no Malcolm Brogdon again. Sarr is listed as questionable. Like, I'm not sure how they scored the ball at all today. And I don't think Philly's going to play super fast. So, I bet team total under. I think it's moved to 104.5 now, but when these guys got rolled out, I put it in. So, Wizards team total. And it's the 5th game of 8 nights for them.
The injury report's a mile long for Washington in this one. I will say I watched a lot of the Wizards game last night. I had Wizards plus 11 and sprinkled the money line. They actually played them tough for a while. Down the stretch in the third quarter, so many missed wide open jump shots in a row. Like so many. It's
one of the least efficient basketball teams. I think they are second, right? Behind Charlotte, I think. Efficiency for the full season.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, they were getting looks, too. Just couldn't hit them.
You didn't even make a graphic for the top shot. Are you kidding me?
Oh, shit. I don't think I put your picks in there.
Insane work here.
This is your top bet?
No, it's not my top bet, but Gershon Yabusele over 12.5 points here. The 29-year-old third-year vet we got coming into this one. Took a bit of some time off. Really need to work on his craft, and we're starting to see it work this year, folks. We got Nick Nurse giving this guy time off the bench. He's probably going to be the starting center tonight. I mean, that's the reason why I got this bet. And we got no Joel Embiid in. Andre Drummond did not practice yesterday. He's already questionable coming in with a toe injury, missed the previous game. I think he's going to miss this one as well. That's going to slide Gershon Yabusele into the 76ers starting center role. And that's very interesting here because this dude's on fire right now, especially at home without Embiid. He smacked the line in 4 straight games, averaging 17 points per game, a whopping 37 minutes. That's that Nick Nurse special. And he's getting that volume, 10 field goal attempts per game. Without Embiid and Drummond on the floor, he may only be 2-2 to the over, but again, 34 minutes per game, 10 field goal attempts per game, and 8+ in each of those games. With just 8+ field goal attempts over the last 9 to 13 overall, averaging 15 points per game. And with 30+ minutes this season, 6-2 to the over at home, averaging 15.5. Now he's going to face the Wizards defense that is just flat out terrible against centers. I mean, Jonas Valanciunas, if you know, going back to the Pelicans days, we love taking those centers against the Pelicans. Even if Sarr's off the court, I like this one. Last 14 to 18 to face Wizards have gone over their point total. Not only are the Wizards 27th in defensive rating, but 5th in pace over the last 10. And this is a Washington defense that loves to funnel looks outside, 24th in above the break frequency, 25th in corner frequency over the last 10 games. Despite the fact that Yabusele is a big, 49% of his shots come from beyond the arc. That's 82nd percentile amongst bigs. So I really think this is a nice matchup for him. I would play this to 13.5 as well for plus money.
Wow. Really likes Yabusele. A couple comments here. Adam Phillips says, can we only make kind comments towards my Wizards? We're going through a tough time. I honestly felt that one. And I apologize, Adam Phillips.
There's not a lot of
I would say what you said about him, Cal, what you said about the Wizards was very kind, in my opinion.
Yeah, they were playing him tough. They were playing some good defense early, and someone else said it. Jay Main said it right after. Apparently, the Wizards are 9-1 against the spread in their last 10 first quarters, and which is funny because yesterday I actually almost bet Wizards first half, and I ended up just taking the full, which would have cashed. By the way, it was a 2-point game at half. Let's switch to something else, yo. Oh, guess what, guys? I have a prop.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Oh yeah, you really like yours. Let's see.
There should be a graphic on there.
Yeah, I know.
I have 1 second. Chicago, Indiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this one, I have Siakam over 7.5 rebounds. I think you only can get 8.5 now, though. It's cool.
Oh, shit. Cal got a prop with CLV that's moved?
Yeah, bro. Look, Chris, I'm a sniper. You can't teach this type of shit. Some people are just born with it. Like, I'm a sniper. I see value. I attack it. That's how I approach it. No, we're joking because I don't bet props very often. And it hasn't even moved that much. I think you still can get this at like minus 155. I got it on minus 135. So it's not like I crushed it. But yeah, it's defense. Whenever you want to take a rebounding prop, look and find who the Chicago Bulls are playing. Take whoever gets the most defensive rebounds on the other team. Because the Chicago Bulls run a fast pace. They miss a lot of shots. They take a lot of shots. They miss a lot of shots. And they have no presence whatsoever when it comes to offensive rebounds. So it's just a team that misses a lot of shots, doesn't get offensive rebounds. So whoever gets the defensive rebounds for the team playing the Bulls should be in good shape. And to give you an idea of why that is Siakam, the Pacers' last 10 basketball games, Siakam leads the team 7.9 defensive rebounds per game in their last 10. So that's just defensive rebounds. He's averaging over this total against a fast-paced Bulls team. That doesn't even include offensive rebounds. I also think it's a good game to look Siakam double-double because I think he could get into double-digit rebounds. But this is my bet. Siakam over 7.5.
Hard to follow that up. Go
It's
ahead,
tough.
man.
It's tough to follow a sniper like that up.
Yeah, no, I'm supposed to give out a prop. I didn't bet this one, but the look that I liked was it was Obi Toppin over 10.5 points, -115. He's the type of guy where like if they're playing a soft defense, he'll perform well, and because he can't shoot, so he just has to attack bad defenses. The Bulls allow the most points in the paint in the entire NBA, number one in terms of points allowed in the paint. And when he's playing teams that are bottom 10, bottom 11 in points allowed in the paint, he's gone over this number in 9 of 13 games. He scored 17 points against the Bulls earlier this year. And that was only putting up 8 shot attempts. He made 6 of 8 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line. So even if he's not going to shoot 3 of 4 from the field every time, but he could have shot 1 of 4 and he still would have hit this over 10.5. The dogs love it. That's why they're barking. But yeah, Obi Toppin over 10.5 points. Again, I didn't bet this one. This was a lean.
All right. What about Chris?
So real quick out, -135 on FanDuel for people who are interested in Siakam.
So you can still get it.
You can get a -135 right now. Everybody else, like you said, is juiced to the moon, and it's moved to 8.5 on a couple books as well. So yeah, definitely shop around. I like that look a lot. I might just play that because I have no idea what to do with this game. I faded the Bulls the other day, and they I think they had the lead for 35 seconds, but it was the most important 35 seconds of the game because they ended up beating the San Antonio Spurs. I talked about how much you want to fade them off a win. I think they're now like 6-9 against the spread when they've covered their last game. So very inconsistent team. But Halliburton is still listed as questionable. I'm guessing he's going to play. Who knows? And then Miles Turner, for your reason for liking Siakam, makes a lot of sense because he also been downgraded on the injury report, questionable with an illness. I don't know what's going on. Like maybe it's in the air because they fly so frequently, but it's a lot of guys that's been out with illnesses throughout the day and at the last minute. We saw it yesterday with Jokic. So yeah, I think I'm gonna just ride with you, Kyle. I don't want to lay 5.5. I think it's a big number 6 with the Pacers, especially without knowing if those two guys are gonna play on the injury report. And the Bulls are feisty, so I'm gonna stay off the spread. I do lean under on the total. Both of these teams have been playing a little bit better defensively. 7-3 to the under are the Chicago Bulls, but I didn't pull the trigger. I thought you might have something on the total, Kyle.
Nah, I mean, it's tough. The Bulls have been playing slightly better defense as of late, and it's really tough to try to get a feel on what kind of pace you're going to see from Indiana because obviously they can go out and run with the best of them. But if you actually look at their game logs, they're not consistently running a fast pace at all. They've actually been down to play some slow pace games. So I don't know. 242.5 is a big number where you take it over 242.5, it could be dead 6 minutes in. Like, oh shit, they're not running. I'm fucked. Like it could be done immediately. So I wasn't interested. I'll stick with my Siakam rebound lock.
Another game, no graphic. I mean, Kyle just doesn't care about me these days. It's insane. So we got Zach LaVine. I actually lost CLV on this one. I don't know what that's about. Kind of sus, but whatever. Don't really care. Man's red hot right now, and I don't care. We're going with Zach LaVine over 24.5 points here. You get that on FanDuel -115. I'd assume News set to miss his 6th straight game here. And during this hand, I mean, we've seen LaVine's usage and production explode. So with the Sumnu on the court, 11 and 15 to the over, just 21 points per game, 25% average usage, 15 field goal attempts. Without the Sumnu, 4 and 1 to the over, 30.4 points per game, 30.6 average usage, 21 field goal attempts. So just massive jumps across the board for LaVine. Now going to face a Pacers team that he's crushed with high usage. I mean, with 28% plus usage, he's over 5 straight against Indy, averaging 34 points per game. And all LaVine needs this season to cash this line is just adequate usage and a decently fast-paced opponent. I mean, against opponents sitting 17th to 1st in pace, when LaVine has a usage of 22.5% plus, he is 10 and 1 to the over this season, averaging 29.4. As I just mentioned, the dude has a 30.6% average usage rate his last 5 games and is now facing a Indiana team that is top 8 in pace over their last 10 games. This Pacers team as well, 24th in points allowed at the rim, 23rd in points allowed to long mid-range. If we look during this hot streak, LaVine has been killing it from these areas. I mean, more than 50% of his shots have been at the rim and from long mid-range. If you look at forwards with a 27% usage rate and 30-plus minutes against the Pacers this year, 13-3 to the over. We saw Kobe White himself said after the Bulls' last win that they love when LaVine is playing confident and leading the team. So I have no reason for me to believe that LaVine's going to pull away and not be confident and really lead the team today. So going with LaVine again over the points.
Let's skip it on over to the next game. I actually was looking at LaVine points also, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, just dude's on a heater right now.
Oh, not even because of that. Because he takes a lot of shots in the paint. They're like the shot zone. I was looking at the shot zones and LaVine lined up for what I was looking for. Oklahoma City, Cleveland, the game everyone wants to talk about. Obviously, the best game on the board. Probably the best basketball game we've seen on the slate in many moons. That being said, I think the line's pretty on point here. I would probably put this at 1.5, 2. So a 2.5, maybe look towards Oklahoma City. Obviously, Oklahoma City, very good. How do we pick either of these teams to lose? Just to give you an idea of how good these basketball teams have been. And if you followed the NBA, you already know this. But if we're talking about regular season games, as in take out the NBA in-season cup final, Oklahoma City's won 15 in a row. 15 fucking games in a row, man. 15 in a row. And Cleveland is 14-1 in their last 15. So how do you pick one of those teams to lose? Not to mention, both of them are in their elements. You love Oklahoma City as a road dog. It's been one of the most profitable bets to make for 3 seasons now. Oklahoma City as a road dog.
2-0 straight up and against the spread this season.
Yep. And I mean, Oklahoma City as a road dog has been profitable as hell for 2 or 3 years now. It's just a blind bet. And on the other side, you got Cleveland at home where it's been automatic this year. You could put the Thunder graphic up for me. I probably will bet this, but by no means am I saying I think there's an edge here at plus 2.5. Like I said, I would probably put this at 1.5, 2. So I don't think there's any value on betting Oklahoma City. Steez was talking all kinds of shit, taking the Cavs, so I might just bet Oklahoma City so I could talk shit to him tonight. Yeah, you can put the Thunder up for me. Chris? Moneyline.
Yeah, I'm staying off the side. I kind of just want to watch this game. To your point, though, I was just looking at it. Since the 2022 season, the Thunder has rolled dogs of 34-18-1 against the spread, which is 65.4% if they're a road dog. So that makes a lot of sense. What I noticed about the game, Kyle, and I was hoping that you went with the total, but real quick before we get to the total, I kind of want to talk about how the games have been starting off, specifically against Cleveland. Specifically with OKC. They just played against Boston on Sunday. And I had Boston in the game +2 when Jaylen Brown got ruled in. And I took them full game. And the Oklahoma City Thunder came out, very lackluster performance. Boston was hitting all their shots. They had a double-digit lead at halftime. So I went back and looked at it because that's been a theme for Mark Daigneault and the Oklahoma City Thunder recently. They have gone down to their opponents and then they just come back. I don't know if people really been paying attention to it. So I say all that to say I'm kind of leaning towards Cleveland in the first quarter with them being the home team.
There's a graphic for that.
Yeah, so Cleveland first quarter, I think you can get like -0.5 point. OKC coming off to the slow starts. The game against Memphis, they went down by 9 in the first quarter. This was without Ja Morant. The game against Minnesota, the game after that, they went down by 12 at halftime. The game before that, they played the Clippers. They were down by 16 at halftime. Against the Knicks, they were down by 14. And then against the Celtics, they were down by 13 with 11-point deficit at the end of the first half. And then they stormed back. Like they have to be like 5-0 against the spread in the third quarter in their last few games because they continuously win, but it's not necessarily what they're doing in the first quarter or in the first half. So Cleveland 13-5-1 against the spread in the first quarter at home, best in the NBA. The Cleveland they've been short favorites of 3 points or less one time this season. It was against the Celtics, and they won that game outright. They won the first quarter 28-24. I just kind of think that they bring it here in this spot. I'm not willing to bet against OKC for the full game, not right now. So I kind of that was my thought process on the first quarter. If I'm playing something, I'm getting in and getting out with the home team, thinking that they get up for this game. Kyle, the total, real quick. You didn't mention it, but like under, I kind of want it has to be under, right? Like it's up to 230.5 right now. I see available on FanDuel.
I mean, if you put a gun to my head and force me to bet a total, I would say under. But like, I could also see these teams just getting into it, shootout. I don't know. I'm not.
The Cavs, what do they do, Kyle? They shoot a bunch of threes. We just saw Cleveland hold Boston which, shoots the three really, really well. Also, they held them down. They only scored 27 points in the second half. Granted, they were on the road in that spot, but I just kind of look at shot zones. I'm looking at last 5 defense. Both of these teams are top 5. We know OKC is giving up like 103 points per 100 possessions. Last 5 games is down to 99. I look at Cleveland team total. It's like 116.5. They need to get to 117. The Thunder have played like 20 games on the road. 2 teams have scored 117 points. So I kind of lean under it, but like I said, I'll stay off of it. If I bet anything, it'll be Cleveland first quarter.
Josh Velarde in the comments. He sent me an email. He's a graduate student in sports management out on the West Coast. Sent me an email. I said, send me a handicap in on this game. He typed like a long thing that he sent me an email, but he's on Oklahoma City. They've beaten 4 of, this was cool. So Oklahoma City this season has beaten 4 of the top 10 home teams this year on the road. So of the best home teams, as far as teams that are tough to beat at home this year, Oklahoma City has beaten 4 of the top 10 already this year. So if there's a team in the NBA, they could go on the road and knock the Cavs off in Cleveland. It's probably Oklahoma City. So yeah, I got your email, Josh. I'll get back to you. Modak?
Cal, real quick. I want to share this trend too. This is pretty cool. Teams that have 85% win percentage, when 2 teams have an 85% win percentage or better after game number 20 in the season, it's only happened 4 times. 4 times in the NBA, 2 teams have an 85% win percentage or better that face each other after game number 20, right? 4-0 to the under. Games are staying under by 16 points.
4-0 to the under. An average of 16?
An average of 16. The
So it
average
stays
total
way
is,
under.
Yeah, the average total is 217.5. The average points scored are 191. So yeah.
Not a bad. All right, maybe an under. Oh, just a bet outside. Just popped in to say under 230.5. 2 of the top 5 defenses. Total's a bit high. Jabba, we'll see him on Saturday when we're talking playoff NFL. Let's pass the mic over to Matthew. Do you have anything compelling for us here?
Yeah, I hope so. My dog's been barking the entire time that I've been on mute, so hopefully she will stop. I have 2 in this game, actually. They're both rebound props, kind of similar to what I did in the Nuggets one yesterday. I went 1-1 there. Hopefully we go 2-0 on this one. Number 1, I went Darius Garland over 2.5 rebounds. I got it at -115. You can get it at -120. I would still take it there. It's obviously super low. He averages 3 rebounds per game, so I'm not going to sit here and say that he skies over this number or anything, but he has hit the over in 7 of his last 10 games. And on the year, he hits at like a 58% rate. The Thunder, they do it in a lot of things incredibly well, but they give up a ton of rebounds. They give up the second most rebounds per game, just overall in the entire NBA. But to guards specifically, they allow the most rebounds per game specifically to guards by like 8 more rebounds than the next closest team. That's per NBA.com. I don't know what they're tracking that goes into that. If it's more than just guards that get rebounds, it's insane how much more they give up specifically to guards. And Garland, he's hit this over in 7 of his last 10 games, and the rebound chances are there. Like more often than not, he's getting 6 or more rebound chances. One game they don't have any numbers for it, so I don't know if the tracking is there. But the other 9 of his last 10, only 3 times did he have fewer than 6 rebound chances. So if we're just asking him to get half of them, I'm good with that. The next one. Go ahead. The next one is Isaiah Hartenstein over 11.5 rebounds. Now, the market has moved a lot on this one. I got it at +100. You could either get over 12.5 for plus money, or you could go over 11.5 for -120. Since I took over 11.5, that's just what I'll give out on this as well. But Hartenstein's been awesome since he came back from injury. He's hit this over in 13 of 21 games, averaging over 12 rebounds per game. But it's really just a matchup play against the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers, he's going to guard Jared Allen, right? And Jared Allen's not going to stretch anybody out. He's not going to go to the perimeter. He's just going to be under the basket. So you can just, that he's going to be there for all the rebound chances. And to put data behind that, 7 of 7 players with a similar rebounding profile to Hartenstein have hit their over. Literally all 7. And it's guys you would think of. It's Mark Williams did it last game. Derek Lively, Walker Kessler, Clint Capella did it twice. Jakob Poeltl did it twice. And even if we just go by position, we just look at the last 15 centers to play against the Cavaliers, 12 of them have hit their rebound prop over. The 3 that went under, Nick Claxton, Valanciunas, and Taj Gibson. So 3 guys that aren't going to really rebound the same way as Hartenstein. He averages over 21 rebound chances per game on the year. Of the 2, I definitely like the Hartenstein one better, but obviously the odds have moved a lot on that one.
Darius Garland over 2.5 rebounds. That's like a prop for Gobert assist, who, by the way, Prop Beaver? I don't know. Oh, I was showing you yesterday.
Yeah.
People were tweeting at me last night. Apparently, people are continuously playing Gobert assists because he had 4 last night.
I'm just happy to help.
He had 4 last night? Wow.
He had 4 last night. He's a facilitator, and people are like, this is becoming a thing. People are playing Gobert assists. People were tagging me last night when he had 4, and Prop Beaver didn't even give it out. It's just people are playing Gobert assists now. You've started something.
Proud of him.
Proud
of little bro.
All right, let's go to the next game. This is actually the biggest bet I have opened today at 1 unit. By no means am I saying I absolutely love it, cannot miss, but I did get some CLV, and it's a prop. I got RJ Barrett over 19.5 points. I think it's at 20.5 now, by the way, which I would still bet. So obviously the Knicks are a great team. They're not quite the elite defensive team they have been in years past. The offense is unbelievable, but where the Knicks lack a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. Number 1, transition. I believe they're 27th in defensive efficiency and transition. They're not the best defense against the fast break. Number 2, not the greatest rim protection. They're pretty middle of the pack. I believe they're 16th or 17th in defensive efficiency against the rim. Part of that could be from not having Mitchell Robinson all season. Also, Towns is a little banged up. Is he still listed as questionable?
Last time I checked, yep.
So Towns is still listed as questionable as well. So we have the Knicks. They struggle to defend in transition. They struggle to protect the basket. And if they're missing Towns tonight, they're really going to struggle to protect the basket. 2 things RJ Barrett loves to do: score in transition, get to the rim. So right off the bat, we're looking at a pretty good matchup for RJ Barrett. And then on top of that, we have RJ Barrett returning to Madison Square Garden. I expect the shot attempts to be up against his old team, in front of his old home crowd. I thought 19.5 was too low. Like I said, I would still bet it at 20.5 here. So RJ Barrett over 19.5 points.
Prop Cal. You're going to have to step your game up.
Look, I'm a value hunter, man. Can't help where I find it. I'm a value hunter. What do you guys got here?
Value hunter, I love it. I have another prop that Prop Beaver's going to love. It's Karl Anthony Towns over 3.5 assists.
Wow.
I got this at plus 100. It's now best offer. Let me make sure I'm getting the right price.
There's a graphic.
Looks like minus 109 is the best price on that. So another one that you can get not quite as good, but not terrible either. The Raptors give up the most assists per game to centers. They're literally number 1 in terms of rebound assists allowed to centers. And if you go through their game log, Brook Lopez had 4. Gogo Bataza had 7. Nick Claxton had 4. Day'Ron Sharpe, Luke Cornett both went over. Al Horford had 4. His over-under was 1.5. Clint Capella went over. And then in this exact matchup, Karl Anthony Towns went over in both of them with 6 and 7 assists in both of those games. It's just like the defense is crap, what everybody knows, but they're aggressive getting the ball out of the pick and roll man's hands. Like they give up the 9th fewest points per game to pick and roll man. So like they're going to run a ton of pick and rolls with Karl Anthony Towns, and if they're not letting them score, then he's getting assists against them. So yeah, the Karl Anthony Towns over 3.5 assists. I love this one.
Someone said Landy put me on that RJ Barrett as well. I'm assuming they mean Lindy, and I didn't know. Is Lindy on RJ Barrett too?
I think Josh Lander.
I was gonna say it could be him or Josh Lander.
Oh, there's Lindy and Lander. All right, Chris.
Nothing for me here at all. I lean under. Didn't play it. Cat being out would really not be great for that. We talked about Toronto under against the Bucks the other day. That game flew underneath the total. Knicks coming off 3 straight losses. I know that they are a little fatigued in this spot. It is a 5th game in 8 nights, but so I stayed away. But if he's in, maybe I get there on the under. I think it was at 231.5.
All right, next game. And Chris, you can go first on this one because I saw your bet on your show. There's a graphic in there for it, and I agree. I was thinking the same exact way. I don't have this one down, and if I bet it now, it would be getting the worst of the number, and I truly don't think it matters. You're on Brooklyn team total.
Brooklyn team total under? Yeah,
I could.
Brooklyn
I mean,
team under, yeah.
Brooklyn team total, you could probably set it under 75.5. This is a Big Ten offense here. This is a Big Sky offense here.
Yeah. Like you said, it's moved a little bit. It's 101.5 now. They failed to get to that number though in the last 2 games. And one of the defenses that they played against was the Pacers. I mean, if you're not gonna get there against the Pacers, I'm not sure when you're gonna be able to get there. Yeah, and the Pacers, want to play super fast. So D'Lo's out, both Cams are out. I think it's just a punt. Like I don't want to go too much into the analysis. Just know that they're a bottom 5 team in the NBA, being able to score the basketball. They shoot a ton of threes. They're very inaccurate, kind of like what Cal was talking about with the Wizards. and they're playing super slow now. So yeah, Brooklyn team total under 102.5 is 101.5 now, down to 100.5 on a couple books. They probably really struggle, especially if Detroit also plays slow in the first leg of a back-to-back with the game against Golden State tomorrow.
Yeah, I might even jump on it with them. I was making jokes on Ski's show last night that Brooklyn team total under 75.5. Who's scoring on this team? Honestly, with the current injuries, who the hell is scoring on the Nets? Even against the Pistons. Look, if you were telling me, hey, the last 5 games the Pistons are 7th in defensive efficiency, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's going to regress. I'd be on board with that, but not here, not with this Nets offense.
The other thing, real quick, was just the rebounding. Like if you look at Brooklyn recently, since they've like lost Cam and lost the other Cam and got D'Lo, they've like a lot of the points that they have been scoring, the few that they've been scoring has been on offensive rebounds, and Detroit limits teams on offensive rebound. I think they're like number 5 on the full season, number 3 on the full season, number 5 last 5 games. So Brooklyn shouldn't even get a ton of those attempts, second chance opportunities either. So yeah, 102.5, 101.5. I like it.
Moda, someone asked if Cat is your zesty bestie.
Yeah, he is actually. That is what I call him. I call him my zesty bestie. I have a long history of trolling Cat and actually call him Kitty because Cat's too masculine for him. I call him Kitty, but he's been good.
So you have a cute pet nickname for him.
Yeah, correct. Yep, my zesty bestie. I call him Kitty. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways. I'm going to go with a player that everybody, I think, in the prop community hates. It's Malik Beasley, 20-plus points, plus 160 odds at Bet365.
I have it plus 200. Oh, did I type? I might have typed it wrong.
No, it was plus 200. It's now plus 160.
Okay.
I'm giving the most up-to-date odds so people like what they can actually bet.
CLVK.
Today, yeah. Not always, but today, yeah. Anyway, so Jaden Ivey's been hurt for 3 games. In 2 of those 3 games, Malik Beasley scored 12 and 5 points. And that is when both those games is when the collective community of betting props was on him. The other game, he scored 23 points, made 6 3-pointers in a horrible matchup against the Timberwolves. So I've learned that whenever you want to bet Malik Beasley, it's when everybody's mad at him, because then that's when he comes through. It's that analysis you really can't get anywhere else. It's very data analytic. That's not even a word, data analytic, but you know what I mean. In all seriousness, he's played 6 games without Jaden Ivey. He scored 20 points in 4 of them. So in my opinion, it makes more sense to pump this up for plus money. Like his over-under is 16.5 for super juiced or 17.5, even still paying minus 105. He's never landed between that number. It's only been 6 games, but he's either scored 23 as his fewest or 12. And the matchup against the Nets is very good. They give up the 3rd fewest points off screens, the fewest off dribble handoffs. The fewest to pick and roll ball handlers, but the 6th most points to spot up shooters, the 8th most points via transition. They also have a pretty weak corner defense as well. I mean, they allow the 7th most made corner threes on the left, the 9th most on the right. So you add that up, bad corner 3 defense. Malik Beasley, I mean, what does he do? He runs the floor, he gets to the corner, and he catches and he shoots. He scored the 2nd most points via catch and shoot in the entire NBA. I think Wemby's only one ahead of him. And the Nets are one of the worst catch and shoot defenses in the NBA. So the matchup is actually really good for Beasley, all jokes aside. And I honestly do. I mean, everybody knows, like I call it fade recent results, positive regression. Shot 1 of 10 last game, still played 29 minutes. In the game before then, he shot 6 of 14 from 3-point range. So like, that's just kind of the nature of the beast with 3-point shooters. So yeah, Malik Beasley plus 160 now. I would still take it there.
Malik Beasley, 20 plus points. The proper community hates him, you said?
Well, because like there's 2 times in the last week where I've noticed everybody's on him and he went under in both those games.
Well, today's the day for Malik Beasley.
Somebody called him
and the one in the middle. The one in the middle he hit. So it's like that's why everybody's mad at him.
I don't have to tell you because I'm sure you already know the comments roasted you pretty hard for Kitty.
Yeah, well, some guy said East Coast Smokes said I was 1-4 yesterday. I was 2-3. Have some respect.
Get it right.
Have some respect, East Coast Smokes.
Portland, New Orleans. Oh, I'm good here. You guys can talk.
Go ahead, Moda.
All right, I'll go right into another one. I do have a bet in this one as well. Another one that I really like, also based on injury news. It's Denny Advia over 16.5 points. So this one actually moved against me. I got this at minus 105. You can now get plus 100. So not the CLV king there. But this is a play because Jeremy Grant's out of the lineup. Again, it's only been 6 games, small sample size, but he's hit over 16.5 points in 4 of 6 games. And in the 2 games he went under, He scored 16 points, put up 12 shots, and 14 points, put up 13 shots. I'll gladly take if he's putting up 12 shots, because even if we go and be a little bit conservative, we say he's going to shoot at least 10. We just look at games this year in which he's taken at least 10 shot attempts, which I think is going to get 12 or more. We'll just be conservative. He's gone over in 10 of his last 14 games, averaging 17.8, so almost 18 points. It's a good matchup. They're playing the Pelicans, who allow the 7th most points via spot up and the 3rd most points via transition, which account to the top 2 in terms of play types where Denny Avdia scores. And another positive regression candidate because he missed this in his last game. But again, he put up 13 shots, was 6 of 13 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, still scored 16 points. So the over 16.5, I love this one. I did not think it was worth it to pump up to 20 plus, obviously, which is why I took the 16.5, because a lot of times he does land like 17, 18, 19. So yeah, over 16.5 for Advia.
Chris, do you have anything for this trash game?
I would just look at Anthony Simons. I think shooting guards against the Pelicans are a thing, second leg of a back-to-back. There's no Jeremy Grant, which means a lot. Anthony Simons has been cooking recently. He's only played 5 games so far this season without Jeremy Grant on the floor. He's up and over the number every single one of them. He did, well, every single one of them except one. So 6 games. So he's 5 for 6 to the over. 83%, and they just give up a ton of points to the shooting guard position. There's also like some baby mama drama. You can go Google that on your own time. He's played against him one time this season, scored 25 points. So it should be Anthony Simons. He keeps it going. He just had 36 against Detroit, 28 against the Bucks the other day, and against my Lakers, 23. So he's gone up and over every game of this road trip, and I think tomorrow they finish off in Dallas, so probably fade him tomorrow, but Anthony Simons probably keeps it going.
Didn't BI hit the game winner over Simons in the first game too?
He did, and the coaches, the players were like, yeah, you're better than him or something like that. Then he hit the game winner against, so yeah, it's some conflictual stuff going on there, but that's not for the show. We just, and I wouldn't bet it based off that. It's just that he's on a heater and there's no Jeremy Grant, who has a facial contusion, is extremely overpaid. So this is more usage for him.
Mama angle. Okay.
Let's move on to the next game. And Chris, what are your thoughts? This is a bet I currently have, but I might be down. I think this might be a sneaky spot to play an over at 225.5. And I kind of am willing to do this, expecting Jokic not to play. And I know 225.5 seems high, but something I've noticed about this Nuggets team, and maybe you've noticed something similar. I actually think we were talking about it yesterday or one of the shows recently. The Nuggets kind of just match whatever pace their opponent is down to play. Yesterday, we saw 94 possessions. They ran at an extremely slow pace. Why? Because the Celtics run a slow pace. The Nuggets always seem to let their opponent dictate the pace. And the Clippers earlier in the season were a slow-paced basketball team, but they've actually been speeding it up. In the last 10 games, they're 12th in pace. So I think, dude, I know it seems crazy because the Clippers are a completely defensive basketball team. The offense has not been good. The Nuggets offense without Jokic is not good. So how could you take an over 225 with a Clippers offense that isn't very good and a Nuggets offense without Jokic that's really not good at all? I just think we're going to see a fast enough paced basketball game where it gets up and over. Like I said, I haven't bet it yet. I would imagine if with Jokic out, the whole world slamming the under here. I'm just spitballing. I'm spitballing here. Is there any? Did you
it drops?
Did you fuck with anything I just said?
Yes, I do, but I'm not betting it. I'm not betting it though. 224.5. It was at 228.5. I don't know. Like Kawhi just got rolled out. I think that makes the defense worse. I think it also probably makes the offense a little bit better. So I guess I kind of agree with you there. Terrence Mann being back probably helps the defense. I have no idea what to do with this game, Kyle. All I know is Denver's on the 5th game in 8 nights. I hate betting in that spot. Jokic was doing so bad yesterday. They sent him home. They didn't even let him stay in the arena to watch the game. Like I heard that Mike Malone was like, no, like go home, like get rest. Like I was like, whoa. So I'm guessing he's not gonna play, but who knows? Like I don't know. I have no idea what to do with this game, Kyle. I'm not gonna spitball.
Okay, so hear me out. Without Jokic, you got Russell Westbrook getting a lot of usage. And the Clippers, if they're down to turn up the pace, Russell Westbrook is always down to turn up the pace. I don't know. I think this is going to be a back and forth game. And I think it's just going to get up over the total, even if the shots aren't necessarily falling at a high rate. And I kind of like this over. I don't really have a good reason to. I just kind of like it. Modi?
I got nothing. I was looking at Zubac PR, but it was 26.5, 27.5. Now it's all the way up to 29.5 and like at minus 110. There's no value on it anymore, especially if Jokic doesn't play. So I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't see people asking about Jokic in the comments. I mean, I don't. It's not confirmed. He's got that illness that a lot of people have, the stomach
I don't
virus.
think he's playing.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he played. I would say probably not playing. The line's pretty indicative of him not playing. I mean, the Nuggets catching 2. If Jokic ends up playing and you got a Denver +2 ticket, spend that money already. Like, you're good. Let's go to the next game. Spurs, Bucks. Oh, I do have a bet in this game. Market moved against me completely. But you know what? I had a total yesterday. Well, yeah, yesterday I had a total.
Under, don't you care? I
had the under 223.5. It's at 226.5 now. But yesterday I had the exact same thing happen. I took the under at 235 in the Boston-Denver game. It went up to 237.5 and still hit. It ended up closing low because Jokic was ruled out and shit. But so I have the under in this game. 1 second. I will tell you why. So both these defenses have been playing very well. In fact, in the last 10 games, the Bucks are second in the NBA in defensive rating, and the Spurs are third. So in the last 10 games, we're talking about 2 top 3 defenses. Now, the Bucks have played a little bit of an easy schedule. They're 27th in strength of schedule in that span. But still, we have 2 teams playing elite defense right now, and their offensive ratings in the same span, 18th and 26th. So if we just go with raw data, the last 10 games, we're talking about 2 top 3 defenses against 18th and 26th offensively. So two teams that are playing much better defensive basketball than they are offensive basketball. Also, specifically how they match up. Milwaukee likes to run a lot of isolation with Lillard and Giannis. Spurs top 10 defensive team against isolation. Also, the Spurs offensively, they like to score at the rim. In the last 10 games, they're 4th in shot frequency at the rim. Bucks are always a great defense on the interior. 7th in defensive efficiency down there. The Bucks offensively, what did I like on that side? 1 second. Oh, the Bucks also have been attacking the rim a lot. 7th in frequency in the last 5 games. Plays into the strength of the Spurs defense with Wemby. They're a top 3. They're actually 3rd in the NBA protecting the basket on the season. It's an elite rim protection team right here. They also guard the paint really well. So Bucks not really going to shouldn't be able to score on the interior in this one. And the Spurs have actually been locked down on the perimeter as well. Just think I went under because I expect to see 2 great defensive performances. Now the pace, the Spurs are pretty average. The Bucks tend to run a faster pace. So I mean, the market disagrees with me here. So. But you know what? The market disagreed with me on a couple bets yesterday that won. So it is what it is. Seems like sharp action is taking the over. I'm on the under.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I'll go next just because I'm with you, Kyle. It's so funny how like this comes full circle. Yesterday when I handicapped the game, after we finished the show, I typically jump into tomorrow's slate. And this total was only open, I think, on Fanatics. And it was like 226.5. And I was like, whoa, if this is 226.5, like I'll take under, but let's just see where the market goes. I wake up this morning, it's all the way down to like 222. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like I got the worst of the number. And now it's back up 5 whole points higher than what the total was yesterday when I first looked at it. But it's for all the things that you mentioned. It's like San Antonio's playing very, very good defense. I also consider, so I'm not going to regurgitate everything you just said, but I will say this. I also consider San Antonio first half, like playing on their defense in the first half, Kyle, maybe like a Milwaukee team total under in the first half. Just because San Antonio is the third best defense, because San Antonio's defense has been better. If you go back and look at the game logs, they've been better in the first half than they've been for the full game. Remember, they just played against the Bulls. They gave up 32 points in the fourth quarter and lost the game in the last seconds, right? Before that, they played against Denver. It was the second leg of back-to-back. Denver came back in that game. So San Antonio's been jumping out on teams. They jumped out on Denver in both games. And they had a big lead against the Chicago Bulls at halftime as well. So for whatever reason, even though they have Chris Paul, they have Harrison Barnes now, it's a lot of veteran leadership. They just can't close. So I was looking at the last 5 games because they 4-0 to the under in their last 5 games. But in the first half, they're giving up like 52 points. The Bucks team total right now is like 56.5. So I was thinking about cutting it in half, like, late game fouling, that type of thing. I feel like all my unders go to die in the NBA right now as well, especially when me and you agree. Like, I know you hit one yesterday.
I hit one yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm with you. I'll play under here with you at 227. I see some 227 and a half out there popping up right now on ESPN bet at minus 115. I like that, especially with it going the opposite way. But I also, like I said, consider Spurs specifically in the first half to bet against the Bucks first half offense at 56 and a half. So I'll be with you here though, under 227 and a half.
I see Prop Beaver on the screen, which means he has a look for us.
You're muted, probably.
Yeah,
Probably
I do.
game
I have a player prop. Replacement Skylights might cry. He's been saying there's too many player props on the show. Kyle, guess that pick sides or the show is going to shit.
Who the fuck is that?
All me and
Exactly.
Kyle, all me
Who
and
gives
Kyle
a
do is
fuck?
pick sides.
Exactly.
Yeah, all we do is pick
Cry
sides
about
and
it,
total.
buddy. Listen, these guys pick sides all the time. Kyle, what is this? Kyle's first show picking fucking props, and we got Buddy complaining over here. Eat a bag of shit.
Seen Kyle.
Eat a bag of
seen
shit,
Kyle.
buddy. Okay, how about that?
I've never seen him play two props in the same.
That's
show
what I'm
ever,
saying.
Let
And we
alone
got,
one prop.
And we got Buddy complaining over here. Truly eat a bag of shit. Now, we got Wemby over 3.5 3-pointers made. Plus 145. We're going back to the Frenchman that hurt us the other night. Rudy Gobert, he was good to us. He was passing out baguettes like it was nobody else's business. But Wemby, holy Christ, he couldn't make a shot to save his life. But we're going back to him here because we don't bet with emotion. We bet with poise. And no Jeremy Sohan's on the court. You know what that means? We have to back this guy. I mean, he's an absolute wagon without Sohan. It's not really that he's getting this insane boost in volume. He's just so much more efficient without Sohan on the court. So without Sohan on the court, he's averaging 4.4 3-pointers made compared to 2.8. But he's only averaging 1.4 more 3-pointers attempted per game. You want to know what the difference is? A 13% increase in 3-point percentage. So that's just insane right there. Now over his last 8 to 9 games without Sohan, averaging 5 3-pointers made on 11 attempts, 9+ 3-point attempts in 8 of those contests. With 9+ 3-point attempts, Wemby's over 15 to 19 contests going back to 2023, averaging 4.5, and over his last 6 to 7 on the road. This is a Bucks defense that, I mean, I'm sure that Modi has said it a million times going back to in the past. The Bucks defense loves to play their drop coverage against those centers, lets them launch from the perimeter. I mean, before the last 3 stretch of Claxton, Ayton, and then Olynyk, the former 2 lacking a 3-point game, we had seen the previous 15 to 17 centers to face Milwaukee go over their 3-point line. Guys with a line of 1.5 or greater, specifically higher volume 3-point centers, they'd cashed 10 straight against Milwaukee. Wemby only had 2 3-pointers made when they faced off last year, but in that matchup, he had 26 minutes only. It was a blowout loss, and Sohan was on the court. So Wemby still had 8 attempts in that one. With the volume, I'm expecting no chance I'm passing this up. Most books have this around only plus 120, plus 115. Bet 365, though, you could get this at a whopping plus 145. So no Sohan means must bet Wemby in some way.
Probably were told replacement Skyrims to eat a bag of shit.
Dude was pissing me off. This ain't the week, brother.
All right, before we bring Toast on to talk college basketball, Chris and Modi, I want to tell the fine folks where they can find your stuff if they found you compelling.
But you don't want my pick in this game?
Oh, yeah, no. Do that first.
Okay, yeah, I feel welcome. I was laughing at the comments. One guy said that Modi makes all his bread on synchronized swim capping, which I thought was hilarious.
It's a good market, a volatile market, but a good market.
You can get a lot of sharp lines there. Anyways, I took Damian Lillard 25 plus points, plus 110 odds at ESPN Bet. The market also shifted a lot on this one. I got plus 140 this morning. On the season, like the Spurs haven't given up a lot of points. Haven't given up a lot of points specifically to point guards, but a lot of their play types are favorable for someone like Damian Lillard. They give up the 10th most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers. And they give up the 10th most points per game made via above the break 3-pointers. So the 10th most points off of above the break 3-pointers. Dame, when he's playing teams that are in the bottom 10 guarding pick and rolls, he's hit the over in 7 of 11. If you combine that with teams that are also bottom 10 guarding above the break 3-pointers, which like obviously there's a correlation there. If you're allowing a lot of points to the pick and roll ball handler, a lot of times it is from above the break. But he's played 6 teams. He's gone over 25 plus points in 5 of those 6. And the Spurs over the last 10 games are allowing the 6th most attempted above the break 3-pointers. Teams are only shooting 31% against them, so they're shooting a low rate, but I'll gladly take those attempts. Dame, and I get that like going back to last year isn't always perfect because different situation, but Dame played the Spurs twice last year. He scored 40 and 25 points in those 2 games. And in the game that he only scored 25, which still would have been an over. He shot 1 of 6 from 3-point range. So he even shot poorly, still went over. So yeah, the Damian Lillard 25 plus points, I'd still take it at plus 110.
All right, Matt, want to go right into where they can find your stuff if they found you compelling?
Yeah, if they found me compelling in East Coast Smokes, I'm not 3-18 this week. I don't know where he's getting his numbers from, but
that's a common behavior from a career loser is to make up, like they'll be like, oh, this guy's 3-10 in their last 13 bets, when it's like I went 4-1 yesterday. They just, it's a weird behavior by people. But go ahead, Matt.
Anyways, if you found me compelling, you can find me on Twitter, as you see on the screen here, at Jedi Modai. Same thing on YouTube, but only if you found me compelling.
Only if you found him compelling. If you didn't find him compelling, just ignore it. Chris?
Yep.
Appreciate you having me on, Kyle. Best of luck tonight, fellas. Over on YouTube at Crispy Cap and 2 P's 2 N's daily morning show. We're gonna get back to doing it a little earlier. I've been doing it like 8:30, 9 o'clock, but we'll get back to 7:30 in the morning to get things going.
I will not be there at 7:30 in the morning. All right, let's talk.
Listen, I apologize to whoever your name is for telling you to eat a bag of shit. Okay,
don't apologize.
You don't need to do that.
It's probably good. He probably needs to.
Nah, you don't need to do that. Okay.
Sometimes you just gotta tell them what they need to hear.
Nah, I mean,
probably don't take it back.
All right. Man. Well, we'll get to college basketball. We'll get good vibes in this bitch. Hope everybody has a great day. There we go.
Good vibes only. Best of luck tonight, fellas. Appreciate y'all.
All right.
See you, gentlemen.
I got 3 college basketball bets tonight. And look at me sniping CLV on the first game. I got the under 147 in this first one.
I told you last night.
Yeah, you did. You were like, you're going to get 3 points of CLV, I believe you said, were your exact words. And so I have under in this first game.
Okay.
Very simple. Both of these teams play an extremely slow pace. Wow, it's 144.5 now.
Told you.
I got 147. So both these teams play extremely slow-paced games. Villanova's offense is terrible. I don't know how they're scoring on UConn's defense. And Villanova's defense, I mean, I'm not going to say it's great, but it's way better than the offense is. So 2 slow-paced games, 2 games where teams should struggle to score. Under, plain and simple. So, yeah, like I said, I got 147. I don't know if it's still playable at 144.5. I haven't been following college basketball close enough to make a call on that.
As far as the unders at 144.5, I would probably pass myself. I think it's 143.5 in some spots now. So, I mean, it's just continuing to go down. I will say the last 5, maybe even more meetings between these teams have went under. I'm pretty sure maybe one game it went over. So typically these teams play under game. This is going to sound probably a little bit weird, but I bet UConn last night, and then I bet UConn again this morning. And I don't really care about what this line has been doing.
Doesn't even care.
Hurley boy.
Don't give a damn. Let me tell you why I don't give a damn. 2 days ago, I got sucked into a trap with this dog shit team Rutgers, taking a sharp short home favorite, facing a way better team in West Virginia. Of course, what happens? Wisconsin blows them out. What happens the next day? St. John's plays a dog shit Xavier team. Xavier, a short home favorite, a short home dog walking of St. John's. This doesn't feel right. Like, I understand that McNeely's out for UConn, who's like been their best player. I get that. But at the same time, like, what has Villanova done at all to be a favorite of this UConn team? I mean, what has? I'm just trying to find one win for Villanova that I could be like, man, that's really solid. Is it Cincinnati? A Cincinnati team that had a really good December and then has been absolutely dog shit the last 3 times they stepped up in competition. I don't really understand how this Villanova team could be this favorite. I don't understand how this line is flipped overnight. It doesn't make any sense to me. UConn's head and shoulders better. The only person that you have to worry about is Eric Dixon. So it's UConn for me. I played them last night for 0.75 units, and I put another half unit on it this morning.
Yeah, and the matchup for Villanova defensively is pretty good, though. If you're looking for some reason to get to Villanova, they protect the interior well. UConn scores on the interior. I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible matchup for Villanova. I'm cool with my under with the CLV trophy. Next. Ole Miss, Arkansas. I looked at this game. My thoughts were why would the total be anything less than 150? So it would probably be over. Both these teams play fast pace. Both these teams can score, but neither team plays particularly great defense, right? Over? I didn't bet this. This is one of my 3 bets.
I didn't bet this game either. I honestly want to see what we get from Arkansas here today. I don't know. I don't think that they're that good of a team, but I don't know how I feel about Mississippi either. But Arkansas has played a pretty weak schedule, considering the fact that anytime that they've stepped up in competition, the 3 best teams that they've played, Baylor, Illinois, Tennessee, they didn't really look good in any of those games. They got a win against Michigan. And keep in mind, we had them in that game. I think they were like a short dog in that game of like 3 points. They were up, like 30 points. I'm exaggerating, but they were up a lot in the first half and then lost it in the second half, ended up winning that game by 2. And then their other win against Miami, who's another team that's just absolutely terrible. I mean, I'll give it to you. They still had their coach Larinaga. But regardless, Miami's been absolutely terrible. So Arkansas hasn't played against anybody or won against anybody that has a pulse. On the other side, the flip side of that is that you have a Mississippi team that hasn't really played that many teams either, or very many good teams either. The 3 best teams that they've played, Georgia, Memphis, and Purdue, I would say. And they lost to Purdue. That game was on a neutral, but that was a 2-point game. They lost to Memphis. They got absolutely obliterated by Memphis by 17, and then they just beat Georgia at home. This is only going to be their 3rd true road game of the year for Mississippi, but I actually lean Mississippi here. I have a lot of plays today. Mississippi just kind of missed the cut for me because they are on the road. Also, the height advantage for Arkansas is so huge. If Mississippi isn't hitting their shots, it could be a long night because Arkansas should have a huge advantage on the boards. Mississippi's like one of the smallest teams in the country. Arkansas is like one of the bigger teams in the country. So again, I lean Mississippi, but I just want to see what we get from Arkansas.
Let's flip it over to the next game. Neither of us have a bet in that one. I have a bet in this one.
Yep, I just bet this one about 45 minutes ago.
Did you take the same as me? I'm on the team total.
South Carolina plus 11.5.
Yeah, all right. So I'm on the. There's a graphic in there, Prop Beaver. I'm on South Carolina team total over 73.5. Is the bet I placed. And I know if you look at the recent games for South Carolina, they're scoring like 73, 71, 69, 73. So why would I take over 73.5 against an Alabama team that's pretty good? This is a better competition. This is better competition than some of the teams they're failing to get to this number against. So why would I take over 73.5? Well, it's not. Well, first, Alabama's a great team. They're not a great defensive team. They're a good offensive team. So Alabama maybe belongs in the conversation with great college basketball teams, but not on the defensive side of the ball. That's number one. Number two, we're not just looking at the competition. We're looking at the competition's pace. South Carolina's been playing a lot of slow-paced basketball teams recently. If you rewind back to the last time they saw a team that ran a decent pace was Clemson. That game was 91-88 in overtime. How many points were scored in regulation there? Yeah, flew over this number. South Carolina finished regulation with 80 points, and Clemson's like 138th in pace. They run a slower pace than even Alabama does, and they have a better defense than Alabama. So on the other side of the ball, I would lean towards the plus the points with Toast as well. The reason I went team total over instead of that, South Carolina should be able to score pretty easily. Alabama should be able to score pretty easily on South Carolina. So I could see South Carolina getting beat 100-85. So I went with the team total over.
Yeah, it makes sense. Also, just to your point about South Carolina, they also played Mercer, and they would have flown over this total as well. And Mercer plays at a really high pace as well. So, for me, I'm not going to sit up here and poke holes at Alabama. They've been really, really good this year. They've played one of a top 10 schedule in the country. I think number 8. Solid wins over teams like Houston, Illinois, Creighton, Oklahoma, Arkansas State, a team that I think is actually pretty damn good. North Carolina, which is only losses to Oregon on a neutral. That game was by 2. And then Purdue on the road. But that was their 4th game of the year in Mackey. I mean, that's just not a game that you expect them to win most likely. But anyway, again, South Carolina, like Saw said, is one of the slowest paced teams in the country, 293 in average possession length. They like to play through their defense, and that's what I think is going to happen here. We're getting an SEC team that is coming off an absolute embarrassment against what they did against Mississippi State. They lost by 35 points on the road. Previous to that, though, they had played games on the road against Clemson, Radford, and Presbyterian. They looked really good in all those games. Obviously, Alabama is so much better than all those teams. My point is that I don't think that South Carolina is 35 points worse than Mississippi State, just like I don't think Florida's 35 points better or 30 points better than Tennessee like we saw last night. I think some things there's just an aberrations and games get away from teams. But I do think that South Carolina is going to slow down this pace. And I do think that South Carolina can hold their own inside, especially with guys like Colin Murray-Boyles. I just feel like 11 and it's got to 11 and a half. I was going to bet it at 10 and a half, but I knew that people would bet at Alabama and this line was going to continue to go up. I think 11 and a half is the best you're going to get. But like I said, I expect South Carolina to make this game an absolute crawl and play through their defense. Alabama can play defense as well. But I mean, again, do I think that South Carolina wins this game? No, but I think they can. I think this, I don't know, like an 8-point game or whatnot. I think we just saw Alabama go on the road to North Dakota State and get lucky in that, or North Dakota, excuse me, and kind of get lucky in that game. They could have lost that game very easily. So again, I just need to see a little bit more from Alabama, especially on the road here in a game that I think they're not. I mean, Alabama's used to having games with like 77 possessions. I think they're going to be lucky to get like 68 possessions in this game. So I think, like I said, Carolina should slow this game down a lot. So Carolina plus 11 and a half.
We just saw Texas battle back for the cover last night too.
That was so beautiful.
That was awesome.
The cherry on top is the fact that Rodney Terry didn't have his team ready to know
you were
when
pissed
to foul
about that
in the last 10 seconds. I wasn't pissed. I was happy. That guaranteed the cover.
You didn't want overtime. I get it, but
yeah,
you were
right.
pissed as in you were making fun of him.
But I was like, you got to be kidding me. There's just
I didn't know. I don't know which play you're talking about specifically, but the one where they tried to trap him first and they fouled with like 17 seconds. I didn't think I was terrible.
It was the next possession.
It was the one after that. Right. Yeah,
under 10, and they let him dribble around in the backcourt, and then they got over half court, and then they fouled.
There's no reason to wait. I get it.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. So, and their bench was on that side. I could keep going. I'm not going to.
This next game's all you. I want to talk about the two games after this, but this St. Bonnie's, you're good. I'm just going to chill and listen for this one.
I don't have a play in this game, but it would the only way I could play this is St. Bonaventure. I must be missing something. Like I said, I have a lot of bets today, and we can go. I'll share some later too, but I just don't understand how St. Bonaventure is.
Sorry, so our graphic is wrong. I typed in SBU, so our graphic is bringing up the wrong team. That's not St. Bonnie's.
Who the hell is this?
I don't know, but the college, some of the abbreviations are close,
okay.
So I must have typed in the wrong one there.
First of all, St. Bonaventure has been obviously fantastic. They only have one loss this year. They're one loss to Utah State. Utah State's an absolute wagon. Nothing there. They've also played on the road multiple times. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They played like 7 games on the road. So a lot of the times you guys hear me talk about this team is only second game on the road or true road game or what that. St. Bonaventure doesn't have to deal with that. I will say that they haven't played the competition that they're going to play in St. Louis on the road yet. But at the same time, like, what has St. Louis shown us to be a 3.5 point favorite against a much, much better St. Bonaventure team? That's why I feel like I'm missing something here. I mean, St. Louis, I understand they had injury issues, and now Swoop and everybody in Avila, everybody's healthy now. I get that. But at the same time, anytime, I mean, where has St. Louis been impressive? Their St. Joseph's win where they blew them out, the Fordham win when they blew them out. How about Chicago State, Jackson State, Quinnipiac? I mean, UMass Lowell. I mean, that's like the best one you're going to get. I mean, every other time they face a team with a pulse, as I like to say, San Francisco, Wofford, Grand Canyon, who's like way overrated this year and sucks, Illinois State, Wichita State, Santa Clara, they've lost all those games. Again, I understand there's been injury issues, but I don't see how St. Bonaventure is a 3.5 point dog. They've played on the road. They're a much bigger team. They should have the rebounding advantage. St. Louis can't shoot. St. Louis is one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country. And St. Bonaventure is probably in the better half of free throw shooting teams in the country. I must be missing something because I don't understand this line. It's Bonnies or pass.
Let's go to the next game. And I think, look, Toast is about to give you a very compelling speech, and I think you should proceed with caution. He's about to lay 3 points. Well, he got a better number.
Nope. I got the Oklahoma money line at minus 118. So
okay. I want you to proceed with caution here. I think this is a case of the Sharps are overplaying their hands. Maybe
Oklahoma's best player isn't, or I'm sorry, Texas A&M's best player and their heartbeat isn't playing, just so you know.
They're significantly the better team. Significantly.
Yeah, sure. Yes. I'll give you that.
So I don't know. Toast is on Oklahoma. He typed Sooners in all caps last night in the Discord.
Correction. Boomer Sooner.
And he used all capital letters when he typed it. I think it's the wrong side, but go ahead. I understand sharp actions coming in on Oklahoma. So in terms of beating the closing line, he got that. He got Oklahoma to pick them. It's -3 now. Congrats. I think it loses.
Thank you on that. Do have a CLV trophy case right over here, and I can always put it up there if I need to. Part of the reason that Oklahoma's been steamed up is Wade Taylor's not going to play. And if you know college basketball, you know Wade Taylor's a pretty big piece at Texas A&M as their point guard. I don't know if you can want to say he's their best player. Phelps or whatever is probably just as good, if not better. But for me, like I said, I think this is one of my favorite spots of the day, especially. The Wade Taylor news puts kind of a cherry on top of it. But we talk about all the time about the road games and stuff like that. Well, Texas A&M has played one road game this year. It was their first road game of the season, and that was against UCF. They lost that game. And then they've had a couple other games, neutral games that they've had, especially teams that they've had to step up in competition with. Like, again, Oregon, they lost that game. They beat Creighton. They beat Rutgers. On neutrals, we both know, or everybody knows, that Creighton and Rutgers are not very good basketball teams right now. The Purdue win on a neutral and a semi away was impressive, but it would have been way more impressive if it would have been at Mackey. Not nearly impressive anywhere else. So I don't really give them too much credit for that. But, I mean, it's not like Oklahoma is some pushover team. I'm not trying to make a case that Oklahoma is better than Texas A&M, but Oklahoma has one loss this year, and it was their last time out, their first game on the road in conference play, and they got Alabama on a hot night. Alabama scored 107 points. I mean, Alabama, if they're shooting the way that they shot the other night, there's not very many teams in the country that's going to beat Alabama. Again, I don't really put too much stock into that. Now, I will say that Oklahoma hasn't really tested themselves. They have a really bad strength of schedule. I will give you all that. Their best wins, Providence, Arizona, Michigan, but that Michigan win looks really good right now after last night, right? So again, we have an Oklahoma team here that, if you get into it, plays really, really good defense, very similar to Texas A&M. They also have one of these teams that I think they're the better offense as well. I think that Texas A&M does a very good job of offensive rebounding, and Wade Taylor doesn't affect that. Not too much, but they play as a team. They're one of the most experienced teams in the country, but they get all their stuff from their offensive rebounding, and they go from rebounding and effort. But hold
on. They're also top 10 in the country in terms of turnover rate. They're 38th in the country free throw rate. They get to the free throw line.
I have Texas A&M's offense at 231 in turnover percentage in the country per KenPom. That's not good.
231. Hold on. Their offense?
Offensive turnover percentage. Correct.
Hold on. Let me double check this. Hold on. I think I'm showing something different. But go on.
As far as KenPom is concerned, Texas A&M's offensive turnover percentage 18.5 or 18.3%. That's good for 231st in the country. Oklahoma's offense 16% turnover percentage. That's good for 84th in the country. So I really think that home court does a lot here too. I just feel like without Wade Taylor, I don't really see Texas A&M's offense running that smoothly either. And last but not least, I really quickly, you guys know I love talking about free throws. Oklahoma is number 6 in the country at the free throw line, one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. Texas A&M, one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country at number 229. Again, I think this is going to be an ugly game, but I do think that Oklahoma can match up with Texas A&M offensive or defensively. I think they have a much better offense, and at the free throw line, I think we have a huge advantage. Also, Oklahoma is the only team that can shoot the 3 ball. So, again, I just think there's a lot of advantages here, especially facing a Texas A&M team without Wade Taylor now and having played a road game in through 2 months, 3 months, 2 months.
So yeah, I think you're right on that. I was looking at the wrong thing. But I'm not on Texas A&M, just so everyone knows. I just thought it was crazy to take Oklahoma. But the poll agrees with you, 60% to 30%. So everyone's taking Oklahoma, it looks like. Next game, I'm on Miami here.
I'll give it to you. I know 3 or 4 other people that I respect on Miami as well. I think you're all fucking batshit crazy, but go ahead.
It's a Kane spot. It's a Kane spot.
I'll give you. You're on the sharp side. I will give you.
Damn
that.
right. I live on the sharp side, bro. That's how I live my life. I sleep on it. I wake up in it. Miami at home here against Florida State. Clearly, Florida State is the better team. Not arguing that. But this is a pretty good matchup for the Canes here at home. So what the Canes really struggle with, and I mean to a disgusting level, is giving up three-point shooting. Their numbers against a three-point shot is absolutely terrible. Florida State can't shoot threes, man. This team's got to score. You got Florida State 323rd in three-point above the break efficiency, 285th in frequency. Team doesn't shoot threes. Florida State needs to get into the interior to score points, which plays into the only thing Miami does well is guard the interior. So Florida State on the road. Miami's going to just collapse the middle, make them shoot. They can't shoot for shit. Look, am I saying Miami's going to do anything offensively? No, I mean, they're not a good team, but Florida State sucks. Florida State's not a good team either. Canes are winning this one. Go ahead. Everyone go click Florida State on the polls. I'll chill on my Canes Island.
I didn't bet Florida State, so I just want to make that clear. I don't know how you lay points with the Miami team.
I got a minus 115 money line.
I don't know how you don't play Miami unless you're getting plus 120 or better. They haven't won. They've won one game since November 21st. That was December 15th against Presbyterian. Woo! Followed that up with a loss to St. Mary's, or Mount St. Mary's, excuse me. St. Mary's would have been a huge, much better one. Boston College and Virginia Tech, and the last
on the road games.
I'm getting there. Those games were on the road too, but they were also after the Mount St. Mary's loss. I'm pretty sure that's when Larinaga stepped down as coach. And this team, I just don't trust this team at all. They've fallen apart. I've played against them the last two nights the last two games. And I will give you the Virginia Tech game was kind of lucky, but this is what Miami's been doing all year. Miami can score the basketball. Of course they can score. They have guys like Matthew Cleveland and Nigel Pack and Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson's a 6'8" guy. I mean, they have guys that can score. They just can't play defense and they can't defend. And especially in this game, when I don't think that Florida State's good either, but they've played a somewhat decent schedule. Their losses are to teams like Florida, LSU, NC State, Louisville. I mean, again, they don't have a signature win. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, you're probably on the sharp side. If Miami comes out and plays at home, so be it. But I see a Florida State team that's much bigger, that has a huge rebounding advantage. That's probably going to be, you're right, Miami might be able to pack it in inside, but I still think that Florida State can shoot over them. They can shoot inside. They just can't shoot anywhere else. So, again, there's no way in hell I would play Miami here. But, again, I didn't play Florida State, so I can't really go on my own island.
All right, let's do it.
Miami is bad.
First off tonight.
The parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community becoming. Making a
Yeah, the song's freezing. Something's weird with that. All right, let's do the community parlay.
Alrighty.
We have an underdog tonight?
Yeah, we do. 1 second.
All right, so I'll do the community parlay. You do the underdog. I'll do the polls.
I'm just down
I knew I smelled something.
You've been in the kitchen cooking?
What is that? yeah, I got some dog. 1 sec.
Some dog?
I mean, yeah, I
What are we
cooked
in
up.
Chinatown?
Oh my lord! Come on, come on now. That's just heinous. That's not how we play. All right,
Beaver, I
so
just watched you call some guy a bag of dicks or shit 7
well,
times.
that guy deserved it. All right, so we've got Zach LaVine higher than 25.5 points. Gershon Yabusele higher than 12.5 points as well. If you are not an underdog member and would like to become one, well, we have a map for you right here, and it is yellow. If you're in one of those yellow states, guess what? You could join underdog, and you could join with the yellow promo code BET. By using such a code, you can get a deposit match up to $1,000, and you can choose to fade or tail my little two-piece right here. Again, Yabusele and Zach LaVine, two heroes here, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try and cash that.
Someone said, has Andy had his funeral yet? No, that's tomorrow. It's in the afternoon, so we're gonna do the show earlier in the day, like 11 a.m. All right.
While Kyle's typing, I want to get out a couple more plays to you guys. I did play, if you guys want something really gross, I played USC +7. And I know that that's the first, if you've been paying attention, like that goes against everything I've been playing the last month or so, as far as fading teams going on the road the first time and whatnot. This is going to be USC's like first true road game all year, or one of their first ones. I can't remember. I don't have my notes in front of me. But I really like the matchup for them because I think that Indiana's been really lucky as far as perimeter shooting. And I don't know if that lasts without Malik Beasley out, who's like their best player. Not to mention the fact that USC just played a very, very good Michigan team. And the fact that I like that is so much is that Michigan's big, just like Illinois, or I'm sorry, just like Indiana is. And so I think that now that USC is seeing a big team like that, I don't think it's going to be as hard to see an Indiana team like that. So I just thought that 7 was a little bit too many. I made Indiana -4, so I took USC on the road +7.
The first two legs are Pistons money line and Cavs money line.
Okay.
Did they vote Arkansas or Ole Miss? They probably voted Ole Miss there. And then they voted Florida State. They don't like the Canes. They're going to learn. But they don't like the Canes.
Another one that I really like, Kansas first half -8. You can play the full game if you want. I just wanted to get the first half in because under 10 I thought was a really good play. Keep in mind they just lost to West Virginia at home, and I think that was a huge wake-up call for them. They went on the road to UCF and just absolutely beat them by 50+. I have a hard time believing they're not going to have the same type of effort at home at Allen Fieldhouse after that. Literally getting punched in the face by West Virginia. Not to mention Arizona State has been decent at times, but to stay in the game, they're going to have to hit a whole bunch of 3 balls, and Kansas is very good at defending that. So I just think that this could be an absolute blowout.
The third leg of the community parlay is UConn. And then for the last, we're going to put Oklahoma in there because they liked Oklahoma. Also, Kansas is a huge favorite in that game, so I won't put that in there. What about Illinois Penn State? Did you talk about that one, Toast?
So that one's like one of the most that's like a situational thing for me. You have Illinois. This is going to be the first Big Ten team, if I'm not mistaken, coming back from the West Coast road trip where they played Washington and Oregon, and now they got to fly home and play Penn State. So I would lean Penn State first half there. Shout out to Jordan Majeski for throwing that out there, but I didn't get there. I think that Illinois might be a wagon. And they're coming off that game against Washington where they kind of almost gave that game away. I don't really want to get in front of Illinois. I guess that's what it is. So I know that they ended up winning that Washington game, but it got really close at the end. So Illinois is just one of those teams that you just don't really want to. I don't really want to step in front of right now.
So a couple things. John Shadell said in the comments, he goes, I don't know what a wagon is. I'm assuming it's a bad thing. No, a wagon means like consistent, moving forward. It's a good thing to be a wagon. Grabens is in the comments. He says he loves ECU -2.5 tonight, Toast.
On my card as well.
You like ECU too?
Yep, on my card as well. Yep.
Oh, nice. Who else is in here? The Juice says Kansas covering easy. What's up?
I passed on Jebediah State, but I will say that what's his face? Drake and Bradley are on national TV on Peacock. I did play Bradley -2.5. Yeah, I think that Drake turns the ball over way too much, and I know it's a very low total, but Bradley's already beat teams like San Francisco at home. Bradley's the best 3-point shooting team in the country. You can probably be safe with Bradley at home tonight on Peacock.
Okay, so the community parlay is now set. We've got Cavs money line, Pistons money line, UConn money line, Oklahoma money line +578, and I also have good news for Kyle's under. Damian Lillard just ruled questionable out of nowhere.
I mean, sniper, just a sniper, sniping all over the place. Thanks everyone for watching. Please remember to bet responsibly. I'll let you know on tomorrow. Probably just going to do 11 a.m. Eastern time, but I mean, if you usually watch at this time, you could still watch it at this time. It'll just already be done. So it really doesn't change anything. But we'll be back Friday normal time. And also we'll be back doing the midnight streams next week. And I think we'll not having Andy sucks because he organized it all. So I think it'll be a little bit unstructured, as in I'll queue up some NBA games, just like a couple that I want to talk about. Toast will have some games. And then we'll also just talk about people will throw things in the comments. If you've seen the midnight stream, you know it's a little more unstructured than normally, but that's the way we'll do it. Starting next week, we'll bring the midnight show back. So everyone, Penn State Notre Dame video. Probably for how long? Probably at an hour and a half, 2 hours. Will be up. Just recorded it before. So I probably was going to chop it up, edit it, put it together, and that'll be up in a little bit too. Thanks everyone for watching. Hit me up in the Discord if you need me. That's it. Have a good one.
Stay goated. That's what you
I
were
was going to
missing.
say, usually
Stay
it's
goated.
have a good night.
Yeah, have a